Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a fascinating question. What do women truly seek in a relationship? Sometimes, there's a gap between what's said and what's felt. If you've ever wondered how to truly connect with a woman on a deeper level, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm uncovering 5 subtle behaviors that women often value deeply, but rarely voice. Think of it as a Stoic perspective on relationships, looking past surface-level expectations to discover what genuinely strengthens the bond. So, if you've ever felt unsure about how to create lasting, meaningful connections, stay tuned. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, because every step you take in mastering your mindset brings you closer to thriving relationships and a more fulfilling life. Ready to explore the hidden truths about what really makes a woman's heart resonate? Let's get started. Let's unpack something fascinating about relationships. This might sound a bit unconventional, but hear me out. Sometimes she actually wants you to focus on yourself and stay engaged with your own life. Strange, maybe, but stick with me, and it'll all make sense. No woman will ever outright say, "Please ignore me for a while." Of course not. That would sound ridiculous, but here's the truth. What really draws her in is seeing you as someone who's deeply involved in his own world. A man who's purposeful, driven, and not glued to his phone, waiting for her every text. Now, I'm not suggesting you disappear or ghost her just to make her wonder. That's not the Stoic way. But when you genuinely prioritize your own goals and responsibilities, something shifts. Suddenly, she starts noticing, wow, he must be busy with something important. What's he working on? What's keeping him so engaged? And that curiosity ignites her interest. This doesn't mean playing games or manipulating emotions. Instead, it's about embracing the core Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, yourself. A man who lives by Stoic teachings doesn't hinge his self-worth on constant validation or attention from others. He's grounded, centered, and clear on what matters most in his life. When you're actively pursuing your passions, building your career, or dedicating time to personal growth, you create an undeniable aura of self-sufficiency. That's incredibly attractive. Why? Because it reflects the Stoic virtues of self-control and discipline. You're not ruled by external desires or seeking approval. You're guided by your own inner compass. Here's the paradox. Many women express a desire for attention, but too much availability can sometimes feel like overkill. If you're constantly checking in or always ready at a moment's notice, it might come across as clingy or overly dependent. But when you balance that with independence, it highlights your strength and maturity. Think about it this way. A man who is steady in his priorities and respects his own time sends a powerful message. It's not about neglecting her. It's about showing her that you're not just living for her approval. You're living for something greater, and that's incredibly compelling. As a Stoic, you understand the importance of maintaining your peace and sense of self. Your confidence comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for, not from how much attention you receive. When you embody this mindset, you're not only attractive, you're magnetic. So what's the takeaway? Occasionally putting your own life first, whether it's your work, hobbies, or personal growth, can enhance her admiration for you. It's not about withholding affection or playing hard to get. It's about authenticity. Show her that you're genuinely invested in becoming the best version of yourself. This balance is key. Be present when it matters, but don't lose sight of your own journey. That's how you create a meaningful connection that's built on respect and admiration, not just fleeting attention. In the end, True attraction comes from living a life that reflects your values, goals, and inner peace. As a Stoic, you don't just react to the world, you shape your path within it. And that's the kind of strength and composure that leaves a lasting impression. All right, let's talk about something that can transform the way you approach your relationship, giving her the space to be herself and trusting in your bond. I know this might feel counterintuitive at first. You might think, wait, isn't a little jealousy healthy? Doesn't it show that I care? After all, society often tells us that women want to feel desired, that they need to see your protectiveness to feel secure. Maybe you've been there, feeling that sting of jealousy when she's out with friends or when another guy seems to show her attention. It's easy to slip into that mindset, isn't it? But here's the truth. Jealousy, while often seen as a sign of caring, can backfire. When you act jealous, what you're really communicating is insecurity. It might not be your intention, but in those moments, you're signaling that you doubt your own worth. Instead of protecting the relationship, you might unintentionally chip away at the trust and respect that form its foundation. Picture this. She's out with friends, maybe even chatting with someone you perceive as competition, and you let jealousy take over. You start questioning her about it when she gets home. What does she think? Does he not trust me? Does he think I'd betray him? Is he unsure of his own value? These doubts can slowly erode her attraction to you. Here's where Stoicism becomes your ally. One of its core teachings is that you cannot control others, only your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. This means that, as a Stoic-minded man, you don't let fear or insecurity dictate your behavior. Instead, you trust yourself and you trust her. If she's chosen to be with you, it's because she sees value in you. When you focus on controlling your own responses, rather than trying to control her actions or who she spends time with, you demonstrate a deep, unshakable confidence. This confidence is rooted not in external validation, but in an awareness of your own worth. Imagine how powerful it is to approach these situations calmly. When another guy flirts with her, you don't react with suspicion or panic. Instead, your attitude is, I know who I am, and I know what I bring to this relationship. If she's with me, it's because she chooses to be. This level of trust and composure speaks volumes. And here's the beauty of it. When you radiate calm confidence, you create an environment where she feels secure too. She doesn't have to constantly reassure you of her loyalty because you've already shown her that you trust her. This dynamic builds mutual respect and strengthens your connection. Now, let's address a common concern. Does this mean you should never show that you care? Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with showing affection or being protective. It's all about balance. Being attentive doesn't mean being overbearing. Caring doesn't mean suffocating. The key is to demonstrate your care without letting insecurity creep in. For example, when she's out with friends, wish her a great time instead of interrogating her about her plans. When a guy flirts with her, smile and trust in the bond you've built, rather than trying to assert dominance or control. The Stoic approach teaches us that true peace and confidence come from within. When you embody this mindset, you not only free yourself from the chains of jealousy, but also show her the strength and stability she admires. And make no mistake, this isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding them, managing them, and choosing your actions wisely. So, the next time jealousy starts to creep in, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling and why? Is this fear speaking, or is it a genuine concern? Remind yourself of your worth and the trust you share. By responding with calm and confidence, you send a powerful message. I am secure in who I am, and I trust in us. This isn't just about winning her admiration. It's about creating a relationship where both of you feel valued, respected, and free to be yourselves. That's the kind of bond that lasts. That's the power of Stoic love. All right, here's a surprising one for you. She actually wants you to have female friends. Sounds odd, doesn't it? After all, the idea of a partner being close to other women might seem like a recipe for conflict. But believe it or not, having female friends can be something she secretly appreciates, even if she doesn't say it outright. Here's why. When she sees that you're capable of forming meaningful connections with other women, it signals something profound. It shows her that you're a man of value, a man who naturally draws people in, including women. And that reassures her. It tells her that she's chosen someone special, someone who has qualities others admire. Now, you might be thinking, what about jealousy? Won't this make her uncomfortable? Sure, it's possible she might voice concern or even feel uneasy about it. That's normal. But let's dig deeper into what's really happening here. When she notices that other women enjoy your company, it triggers something powerful. It reinforces your worth. Think about it. In life, we're often drawn to what others value. If she sees that other women are interested in you or enjoy your presence, it subconsciously confirms what she already knows. You're a man worth having. That sense of healthy competition can fuel her attraction to you. Now, don't get me wrong. The goal isn't to make her feel insecure or to play games. It's about showing her, through your authentic relationships and actions, that you have options and that you've chosen her. That's a powerful dynamic, and it strengthens the bond between you two. Here's the twist. A little jealousy isn't necessarily a bad thing. Of course, no one wants to intentionally create discomfort in a relationship, but when handled correctly, those feelings of slight jealousy can actually work in your favor. Why? Because it reminds her that she's with a man others would love to be with. And if those female friends happen to be charismatic or attractive, that's an added layer. It subtly challenges her to bring her best self to the relationship. She might think, other women would love to be in my place. I need to make sure I keep his attention and admiration. But how does this tie into Stoicism? This is where the philosophy truly shines. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our emotions, and our responses, while letting go of the need to control others. This mindset is incredibly freeing, especially in relationships. When you embrace your female friendships with confidence and authenticity, you're not seeking validation or trying to stir up jealousy. Instead, you're simply being yourself. And when she reacts, whether with curiosity, admiration, or even a twinge of jealousy, you remain grounded. Stoicism teaches us to trust in our own worth. If you know who you are and what you bring to the table, there's no need to prove yourself or justify your actions. You're living in alignment with your values, and that quiet confidence is magnetic. So what do you do when she expresses discomfort or jealousy about your female friends? You don't react with defensiveness or dismissiveness. Instead, stay calm and composed. Acknowledge her feelings with respect, but let your actions and steady demeanor speak for themselves. This calmness shows strength, the kind of strength that says, I'm secure in who I am, and I trust in what we have. And here's the beautiful part. By showing her that you're unshaken by external reactions, you're reinforcing the very qualities she admires in you. Your calm, your confidence, and your inner peace become a foundation for the relationship, and she'll feel more secure in your connection because of it. Now, this doesn't mean flaunting your friendships or intentionally making her feel left out. It's about balance. Show her that your relationships with others are a reflection of who you are, someone who values connection, loyalty, and respect. At the same time, make it clear through your actions that she holds a special place in your life. Remember, the Stoic approach isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate emotions. It's about living authentically and staying true to your values. By embracing this mindset, you create an environment where both of you can thrive, free from the weight of unnecessary insecurities or doubts. So, the next time you're with your female friends, carry yourself with quiet confidence. Let her see that you're a man who values meaningful connections, but has chosen her as your partner. This trust and authenticity will deepen her respect and attraction to you far more than any calculated move ever could. And if she feels a bit of jealousy, let her work through it. That's part of her journey, not yours. Stay focused on being the best version of yourself, living with the calm and composure that Stoicism teaches. When you do, you'll find that your relationship becomes stronger and more fulfilling, built on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. So, what's your take? Do you see how this perspective could shift the dynamic in your relationship? Share your thoughts. Let's dive into this together. Let's dive into the next one that might feel counterintuitive but holds incredible power. She wants you to have strong opinions and take the lead. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, aren't women always saying they want someone easygoing, someone who's flexible and goes along with their ideas? Sure, you've probably heard that before, but let's peel back the layers. While flexibility and compromise are important, deep down, most women are far more drawn to a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to take charge. Why? Because decisiveness signals confidence, purpose, and a clear sense of direction, all traits that naturally attract respect and admiration. Picture this. You're out with a group of friends, and the age-old question arises, where should we eat? There's always that one person who just can't decide, leaving everyone frustrated. But then there's the guy who steps up and says, let's try that new place down the street. Suddenly, there's relief, clarity, and respect for the person who made the call. The same principle applies in relationships. When you confidently express your opinions, whether it's about choosing a restaurant, planning a weekend, or sharing your perspective on life, you're showing her that you're not afraid to take responsibility for decisions. And trust me, that confidence is magnetic. But here's the catch. Being decisive doesn't mean being domineering. It's not about steamrolling over her ideas or acting like a dictator. It's about balance. True leadership means making decisions with integrity while remaining open to input. It's about being firm in your beliefs, but flexible enough to consider her thoughts and feelings. Think of the leaders you admire. The ones who inspire trust and respect are those who lead with clarity, purpose, and conviction. They don't waver in the face of uncertainty, nor do they shy away from responsibility. Instead, they embrace it, knowing that their strength lies in their ability to act with intention. This ties beautifully into the philosophy of Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to align our actions with our values and not be swayed by external opinions or the fear of making mistakes. A Stoic man doesn't seek constant validation from others. He trusts himself and owns his decisions. In a relationship, this means being true to yourself while respecting your partner. It's about leading with conviction, not because you're trying to control the dynamic, but because you're secure in your own identity. When you adopt this mindset, you naturally exude confidence. And here's the thing. Confidence isn't about always being right. It's about being grounded in your beliefs, acknowledging when you're wrong, and continuing to move forward with integrity. That kind of authenticity is irresistible. So, how does this play out in real life? Let's say you're planning a date night. Instead of asking, "What do you want to do?" and leaving it entirely up to her, take the initiative. Say something like, "I thought we could check out that new Italian place tonight. I've heard great things." Even if she suggests a different plan, she'll appreciate that you came prepared with a clear idea. The same applies to bigger decisions in your relationship. Whether it's discussing future goals, resolving conflicts, or navigating challenges, being decisive shows her that you're someone she can rely on. Even if she doesn't always agree with your choices, she'll respect you for standing firm in your convictions. Now, let's address a common concern. What if I come across as arrogant or overbearing? That's where balance comes in. Strong opinions don't mean shutting down dialogue. It means being confident enough to express yourself while remaining open to her perspective. It's about valuing her input while showing that you're not afraid to take the reins when needed. And here's the beauty of this approach. It deepens your connection with both her and yourself. When you lead with purpose, you're not just showing her that you're capable, you're reinforcing your own sense of self. You're proving to yourself that you're enough, just as you are. Stoicism reminds us that true strength lies in living with integrity and embracing our values. It's not about perfection or always having the right answers. It's about showing up with authenticity, owning your decisions, and trusting that you're on the right path. So, the next time you're faced with a decision, big or small, don't shy away. Take the lead. Show her that you're not drifting through life, but actively shaping it. Stand by your principles, make your choices with confidence, and trust in your own worth. Because when you're true to yourself and strong in your convictions, you're not only building a stronger relationship, you're also becoming the kind of person others naturally want to follow and admire. And that, my friend, is the foundation of a connection that lasts. Now, let's talk about something that might catch you off guard. She appreciates moments of passionate but brief intimacy. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Don't we all dream of those long, romantic evenings filled with candlelight and soft music? Sure, that has its place, but here's the twist. Many women value the thrill of quick, intense, and spontaneous connections just as much, if not more. Let me clarify. This doesn't mean romance and emotional connection are unimportant. They absolutely are. But there's something undeniably exciting about a burst of raw passion. Think of it as an electrifying spark that lights up the moment, leaving a lasting impression. Here's why this resonates with so many women. Their desires, like ours, aren't always bound by societal expectations of what intimacy should look like. Sometimes they crave spontaneity, that feeling of being swept away by the intensity of the moment. Think back to a time when the chemistry between you and someone else was so palpable that words weren't even necessary. Maybe it was a glance, a shared smile, or an unspoken understanding that created an undeniable connection. That's the magic we're talking about, the kind that doesn't need to be planned or prolonged to feel profound. While some might say they prefer slower, more drawn-out moments of connection, the truth is that a well-balanced mix of intensity and unpredictability often taps into something deeper. It's not about rushing or being careless. It's about recognizing the power of timing and rhythm. This is where passion meets presence. When you embrace the beauty of brevity, you create moments that feel vibrant and alive. It's not about cutting corners, but about understanding that sometimes less really is more. These moments don't just satisfy physical desires, they leave an emotional imprint that lingers long after. Now let's connect this to Stoicism. At its core, Stoic philosophy teaches us to live fully in the present moment. It's about letting go of unnecessary planning and simply experiencing life as it unfolds. This mindset applies beautifully to intimacy. The Stoic approach to life is one of presence and purpose. Rather than overthinking or trying to control every outcome, Stoics focus on what's in front of them. When applied to relationships, this means letting go of the checklist of what intimacy should look like, and instead embracing what feels right in the moment. Picture this. Instead of striving to make every intimate moment perfect or overly prolonged, you approach it with a sense of mindfulness. You're fully present, focused on her and the connection you share. You're not caught up in expectations or trying to meet an arbitrary standard. Instead, you're simply there, engaged, attentive, and responsive. This level of presence creates an intensity that's both powerful and memorable. It's not about making things fast for the sake of speed, but about embracing the idea that intimacy doesn't have to be drawn out to be meaningful. In fact, the right mix of passion and brevity often leaves her feeling more connected and more fulfilled. There's also a practical side to this. Long, drawn-out moments can sometimes lose their magic, becoming less about connection and more about meeting expectations. But when you focus on quality rather than quantity, you ensure that every moment feels special and intentional. By embracing Stoic principles, you approach intimacy as something to be enjoyed, not labored over. It's about savoring the connection without getting bogged down by external pressures or the need to make it perfect. Instead, you let the moment unfold naturally, trusting in your bond and shared chemistry. So, next time you think about intimacy, consider this. It's not about how long the moment lasts, but about how deeply you connect during it. When you're present, authentic, and tuned into her needs, you create a dynamic that's far more meaningful than any scripted or prolonged effort. In the end, the Stoic approach reminds us to value what we have in the present moment. Whether it's a brief burst of passion or a slower, more deliberate connection, the key is to be fully there, embracing the experience for what it is. That's where true intimacy and true connection lies. Let things unfold naturally. When you embrace a Stoic mindset, you'll find that passion and intensity don't have to be overcomplicated. They just need to be authentic, spontaneous, and real. That's where the magic happens in relationships. You're not forcing anything. Instead, you're allowing moments to flow and evolve in their own way. When it comes to intimacy, remember this: sometimes less truly is more. A quick, passionate moment filled with genuine intensity can leave a lasting impact, far greater than anything overly planned or drawn out. It's not about the length of the moment, but the depth of connection you create within it. By balancing passion with presence, you cultivate a more meaningful bond, not just with her, but also with the experience itself. You're fully there, in the moment, appreciating its raw beauty without distraction or overthinking. And that's the key takeaway. Passion, simplicity, and authenticity often resonate far more deeply than grand gestures or rigid expectations. Thanks for tuning in. If this resonates with you, drop a comment saying, "I'm confident and in control." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more insights. Let's keep building stronger, more authentic connections. Stay positive.